What is good, guys? We are back with a predictions video. Finally, international break is over, thankfully. Back to club football and the Premier League football. So the games this week are pretty good, so let's get straight into them. Hopefully you enjoy the video. Don't forget to drop a like if you do. And Southampton versus Manchester United for the first one. This is gonna be a interesting one. I am positive United will win, but we never know. Now let's get started with Southampton. Their Premier League campaign has not started too well. They played 3 games so far and they have lost all 3, and in this game they definitely need to be more of a threat, but obviously they're coming up against Manchester United, so a team better than them, but recently they have been struggling defensively already. They might have to go a lot of men behind the ball and play that kind of counter-attacking football and to be Manchester United. Now on to United. They've been not too good, bit of a rough start for them so far. They have lost 2 games and won 1 so far. It's not very ideal for a club like Man United. Casemiro seems like he is falling off quite a bit. Like his passing against Liverpool cost them 2 goals. Liverpool dominated them and they won 3-0. Things need to change very soon, otherwise Ten Hag could be on his way out. I could see it, but who knows? Let's see in the next few months or maybe weeks, who knows. But my prediction is going to be a 2-1 win for Manchester United. Now we have Liverpool versus Nottingham Forest. Liverpool will surely cruise this game, so let's get started with Liverpool. They are looking outstanding this season, playing some absolutely amazing football. The attack seems to be flowing very nicely. Salah, Diaz and Jota are really balling out, and it seems like a bit of more calmness in the squad since Slot came into the team or as the coach. Szoboszlai is now back in the starting 11 and he is doing quite well. I think Slot has gave him a deserved spot in the team. They definitely are contenders for the title, but of course it is quite early on. On to Nottingham Forest. They look not too bad this season. The positive for them is no losses for Forest. They have drawn 2 games, 1-1. Brought in Milinkovic this summer, which is a very good signing. I believe he is a very good center back who is comfortable with the ball at his feet, and Gibbs White has been quite good as well, scoring in their last game. Now they might manage to stay up this season. Now my prediction is going to be a 3-0 win for Liverpool. Now Manchester City versus Brentford. I will be honest, this is going to be a easy one for City. Personally, that's what I think. But let's get started with Manchester City. This club is still doing very well. They're playing some very good football without one of their key players as well in Rodri, which is pretty crazy. And Man City actually brought back Gundogan back to the Etihad as he could leave from Barca on a free transfer, so Pep wanted to get him back, so he is back at Man City. Haaland is, what can I say, this guy is absolutely insane. He has already scored 7 goals in 3 matches. He is absolutely locked in this season and it's looking dangerous for the whole league, and Musiala is apparently rumored to join them in the summer as well, so that's going to be a very good signing if they manage to pull it off. On to Brentford. They have been surprisingly quite good after having a pretty awful season last year, winning 2 games and losing only 1 to Liverpool this season. And Mbeumo and Wissa have been key players for Brentford. Tony made his move to the Saudi League, which I don't know if it was a good move, but I am excited to see how this team does this season. I think they could definitely do a lot better, and my prediction is going to be 3-1 Manchester City. Now moving on to Fulham versus West Ham. This is going to be a great one, so let's get started with Fulham. They have been quite alright this season. They have had a not bad start to this season. They already won one game, drew one, and lost one, so this game could be a tough one for them as well. But they brought in Emil Smith-Rowe in the summer, and it's a very good signing for them, and he has been quite good for them already. So on to West Ham. This team, in my opinion, is one to look out for. I think one of the most, or could form into a very dangerous team once they start playing a lot of games and once they gel quite well. Those signings that they made include Somerville, Fulkrug, Tadibo, Wan-Bissaka, and the new coach in Lopetegui as well, which I think he will push more attacking football with the side, and they have not started the season too well. They have had some rough games. Started the season playing Villa and Man City, which they lost both, but those two are some top teams to play. So my prediction is going to be a 2-1 win for West Ham. Now moving on to Crystal Palace versus Leicester City. I am honestly unsure about how this will go, so let's get started with Crystal Palace. They have not had the best start to the season so far, but so far they have not won any games as well this season. That is very surprising, even though they ended their season last year very well, but might take some time for them to get it clicking again. Obviously, one of their key players in Elise has made his move to Bayern in the summer, so up top now it's gonna be Mateta and Eze. At the moment, those players can provide goals, assists quite a bit. So Eze is a baller. I don't know how no one picked him up this summer, but maybe in the upcoming transfer windows. On to Leicester City, newly promoted side, but they are back in the Premier League. They got relegated 2 seasons ago, but now are back. Vardy is back as well, already scoring. A little bit of a rough start for them as well, as they have not won a game yet, but facing both Aston Villa and Tottenham, which are tough games. It might take them a bit of time to adapt to the Premier League level, but let's see if they could stay up in the Premier League. Now my prediction is going to be a 2-1 win or Crystal Palace. Now moving on to Brighton versus Ipswich. In my opinion, this will be a stroll for Brighton. So let's get started with Brighton. They have looked really good this season. One of the few teams that remain unbeaten so far this season with their new manager. They're playing some quite good football. Faced Arsenal last game and they got a draw out of it, which is, I think, a good result for them. But Joao Pedro continues to score goals, and he scored against Arsenal. That's a player to look out for this season, and I believe this season will be a very good player. This Brighton team is definitely one to look out for. And let's hop on over to Ipswich. They're a new team from the Championship. Very impressive though, as they got promoted back-to-back seasons, which is insane. And gotta give credit to Kieran McKenna and the players. They started their season not too well so far, but I mean, they did have to face two of the toughest teams, Man City and Liverpool. They did get a point against Fulham, so they're slowly getting into the Premier League rhythm, and hopefully they can manage to stay up, as a lot of people that I know support Ipswich. I see this game being a 1-1 draw. Moving on to Aston Villa versus Everton. This could potentially be a very good match, so let's get started with Villa. They have been quite alright this season so far. Only lost to Arsenal 2-0. That's their only loss, and I believe as the season goes on they will get better. And they have signed Onana from Everton. He has started quite well with 2 goals already, even though he is kind of like a CDM. Unai Emery will do well, in my opinion, again with this team, but the thing is, they will have to juggle Champions League football and Premier League football, so that is going to be quite a tough job. On to Everton, having a very rough start to the season, having lost all their games so far this season. I know it's early, but we could be seeing them getting relegated possibly, but their last game was quite a wild one against Bournemouth. They lost 3-2 to a last-minute winner by Sinistera. Everton need to improve defensively, Last season, they were one of the best sides defensively, but I don't know what's going on now. Hopefully, they could find that defensive solidity once again. And my prediction is going to be a 2-0 win for Aston Villa. Now we have Bournemouth versus Chelsea. This could be quite a tough game, or a tight one as well. So let's get started with Bournemouth. Pretty good start to the season for them. Last season, they got their joint best points total in the Premier League. That is quite impressive, but unfortunately, as I said before, they lost Solanke, but they replaced them with Ivan Nelson, and I think this season we will see even more of Bournemouth. They signed Huijsen, who has been quite good so far, a youngster from Juventus, which has a lot of potential in my opinion. He's 19 years old as well, and I believe Andoni Iraola will have them doing very well this season. We could possibly see them finishing in the top half of the table. On to Chelsea. Chelsea have been alright this season. Started the season off with a 2-0 loss to Manchester City, but then they went on to slap Wolves 6-2, which I did not see coming at all. Madueke getting a hat-trick. We could be seeing a player who's kind of like breaking out in the Chelsea team. I think he will have probably his best season at Chelsea in this upcoming season. They recently drew to Crystal Palace. I think it might take some time for them to properly click, but one thing I've been saying is Neto probably has to start over Mudryk, as Mudryk just has not been good so far at the club. This game, I think it's gonna end 2-2. Moving on to the North London derby, Tottenham versus Arsenal. So let's get started with Tottenham. They've been quite decent so far this season. They lost their last game 2-1 to Newcastle, which is not good, as their next game, as we're talking about, is Arsenal, and they seem to be playing some quite decent football, and they are probably going to be missing Van de Ven and Solanke possibly in this game. Those two are huge misses, as they can make a huge impact in the team, and I'm interested to see how Angie will set up this team against Arsenal. Now moving on to Arsenal, they are looking quite decent this season. Started the season quite well with no losses, beating Aston Villa 2-0 in their second game, and in the last game they drew to Brighton, which is not ideal. Declan Rice and Calafiori are unavailable for this game, as well as Odegaard got a injury while he was playing for Norway, so he's going to be out for 2 to 3 weeks. And Rice got a red last game, which is not good, so we're going to be missing a lot of key players. So this could be a open match for both sides, which means it'll be even tighter for this game against Spurs. I think we still got it, but hopefully we could pull through with a win. In my opinion, Arsenal will win 2-1. Now for the last and final game, we have Wolves versus Newcastle. Realistically, this is going one way, so let's get started with Wolves. They have not had the best start so far. Only 1 point gained against Forest. They got absolutely slapped by Chelsea 6-2. Before that, they lost one of their key players in Pedro Neto to Chelsea, and I think they might struggle quite a bit this season. They still have some quality players like Cunha, Wang Hee-chan, but I'm interested to see how they do this season. Moving on to Newcastle now. They have started their season quite well, to be fair. So far they remain unbeaten in their first 3 games. Last week they beat Tottenham 2-1, which I did not see coming. I saw Tottenham as the favorites for that game, but Isak continues to have an amazing Premier League career. That man just reminds me so much of Henry when he's on the ball, off the ball. Just incredible player. I would love him at Arsenal. And Gordon is a very good winger as well, loves to take on his man, and he's very, very rapid. And I think we will see Newcastle back to doing well once again. And my prediction is going to be a 3-1 win for Newcastle. So thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you did enjoy the video. Don't forget to drop a like, comment down below all your predictions for this week's games, and don't forget to subscribe as well if you did enjoy the video, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.